life and death, physical life, non-physical life. Today it is 10 years since my son Aleksander Lennert Nordberg chose to commit suicide. 2nd of July 2015. Wow, wow, I just have to say wow. And he lived with a pain body all his life. He was born with colic. He cried, and when he was finished colic, he got cancer as a 3-year-old boy. And he was in an accident, so he had a lot of pain in his body, and he met a lot of resistance. And I know that it can be hard on Mother Earth when you first start to spiral in this negative, and even if you are a bright soul like he is, and a lot of souls are bright and they meet a lot of resistance. And I know it can be easy to ask ourselves, like, why do I meet so much resistance, so much hardness, drive? And living with pain body, it is pain. It is deep pain. And we hadn't spoke about ego death in our family because I wasn't so familiar with ego death until 2013. So I started my ego death in 2013. And I said, Aleksander, I have another solution, because we had looked for a lot of solution to our pain body, and especially our back pain, and yeah, we had a lot of pain. But he said, no, Mother, I don't want to be as crazy as you, because when I open up to the spiritual, open up to my helpers and that non-physical reality, he said, I cannot be that crazy. But now, only 10 years after, it has been much more normal. A lot of people is like, well, we know it is there. And yes. But I have learned so much through Aleksander, and Aleksander and me has had so many lives together. I was his daughter in another life in Wales. He was my father, and I died from him just 13. I became 13. I had a heart defect, so he have lost his child, and he has been my brother. We have had so many roles towards each other, and now we will have another role in a closer. I know that I will feel him in physical form again, because he was born in 2020, so he is reborn. And when he was in his new biological mother's womb, he contacted me and said, I'm on my way. And I said, what? And he told me where he would incarnate. And I have spoken to his new biological mother, but she had deep issue. She lived with a pain body. Wow, it's a huge pain body. So it's a lot of huge pain bodies. And she had so much huge pain body and so much sorrow because her father committed suicide, and my son and her biological father actually chose to incarnate in one body. So two souls chose to incarnate in one body, and they chose a hard life. So when we choose hard lives, sometimes we choose several souls to go together, because living in a pain body, yes. So, and since his biological mother in now, the new life that he have chosen, have so much pain, she couldn't take care of him. So he is kind of adopted to another family. And I tried to connect to them because I wanted to visit Aleksander. Even though he said, well, you cannot visit me until I am a teenager. The circumstances will be like that. And I didn't know what he meant with that, but now I know. But I will meet him when he is a teenager. So I contacted the family he lives with now, and they also say, you are crazy. Just like Aleksander said before he commit suicide. I don't want to be crazy. I don't want to be spiritual. So they are also afraid of the spiritual world. And when I said he is my incarnated son, they said no, no, no. So, but I will meet him. So time. Here on Mother Earth, we have to adjust to time and space. But time and space is just a dimension. I have learned so much since 2013, 2015 also. And Aleksander has actually been one of the biggest helper. I have had deep helper, and the help I have had has been hard also because it was so much grief losing my son. Oh. But I don't grieve anymore because I'm connected to Aleksander every day, and I know that I will meet him in physical form again. And when I asked of this in the beginning of 2016, I was in very deep grief. I cried and cried and cried, and I was in a plane, and I had met Aleksander in a dream, and I spoke. So he was so near me, and then I had a deep grief period, and I said, please, Aleksander, I need to feel you in physical form. It's not enough to speak with you in that form. So I was so into my physical form, and I needed him to be in physical form. I said, please, Aleksander, come in physical form. I need to feel you. And he didn't answer me when I was in that deep grief. But 1 month after, when I was at a mountain and in good place, and I went into the shower, then he came. And he said, I will come into form again. And I was, wow, yes! And I hope that he would come as my grandchild, but no. So it wasn't up to me. He chose, he wanted to do it better. He wanted to, because he commits suicide, and this is a state. So he has chosen a family with the same circumstances, even harder. So, yeah. And I have in my ancestral stuff suicidal issue, and the biological father to Aleksander had suicidal pain body. He come from Greenland, and if you see Greenland have a lot of pain body and violence, and Aleksander's great grandfather from Greenland, he was a very violent man, and he beated his children. He really, yeah, he abused them in the worst way. So Aleksander's grandmother, her name was Mette. She was such a beautiful soul. Oh, she was such a beautiful soul, but she was beaten from she was very small. So her father beat her, and was, yeah, he was a very sick man, traumatized man. And she lived with a pain body. She actually died of cancer because she also attracted violent men that beat her, that did the same to her as her father, because that was what she was familiar with. So she died in 1998, and she loved Aleksander. Aleksander was born in 93 and she died in 98. So the years they got together, she did everything for him. She bought him everything she could. So, and she loved being with him and playing with him. This was the brightest period in her life. She had a really hard life. So pain body, yeah, Aleksander chose me and his biological father. And being a mother of 5 children, the first 2 children had another biological father than the 3 others, but they are raised with the man that I'm married to now. But the 2 oldest children has had much more pain body than the 3 others. The 3 others have also been, but they have kind of been normal. Aleksander and his brother Christopher, the 2 oldest, they had much more significant pain body than the others. So ancestral stuff, yeah, it forms us. But now that I am in another detox, I have been in detox several times, but this detox that I am in now, I'm in the middle of it because I have been in it for 2 months, May, June, and now I will be it in July and August. I'm changing my bone structure, my DNA and my genome. So it is a radical change. I have never been in such a radical change that I am in now. It's like, yeah, it is so deep, and I have to take sauna, 1 hour sauna every day. Actually, I do sauna sometimes twice because it is so hard. If I don't do sauna, I cannot sleep in the night because my bone structure is changing so rapidly. And I didn't know that this was possible, but I said yes because I live just as much in the non-physical world as in the physical world. So I said yes, I am ready to become the new human with all that implicate. I have no idea. So I am in the unknown. And I know that my life will be radical from this autumn. I met a bumblebee 2 days ago, some days ago, and it showed me my old life and what it will be and the new life. It's like, wow, thank you. I communicate a lot with animals. Bumblebee, ladybug, reindeer, everything, spider, dog, cat, everything, they hold power to us and we can communicate with everything. Everything is so interconnected. It's wow. So I wanted to talk about that and life and choosing life in another way. Aleksander chose to commit suicide because, not because he wanted to die, he wanted to die from the pain body. He had lived with pain body for 22 years. He was born with pain body. And I also wanted to commit suicide when I was a teenager because I had so much pain. So I also looked for solution, and I have tried so much solution. And I had eating disorders for 10 years in my teenager. That was the way I coped with all the pain. I went into this eating disorders, eating and puking, and I had anorexia and bulimia, and yeah. So when I was 22, I had it from I was 12 till I was 22. And then what saved me was actually having 5 children, because I didn't have time for myself, and that was amazing. So I dedicated all my time to my children, but the wound inside, I didn't know that I gave them subconsciously because my energy was wounded. So the wounded energy in my ancestral stuff I gave to my children, and I did everything I could for them, but I didn't know how my energy, my wounded energy, affected them deeper than I knew. But I started to transform it in 2013, and Aleksander said, no, I don't want to do that with you. I will do it my way. And he said that he had found other ways to cope with his pain body. And he planned to commit suicide. So this was his choice. And even though I spoke with him, I said, yeah, I had several conversations with him in 2015 before he committed suicide. And he had very good conversation with all family members, with his sisters, with his brothers, with his friends, father, because he planned to leave. But I didn't like his choice, but it was his choice. And he has been reborn, and I will meet him again. But I wanted to say that it is other solution, and it is the ego death. And I have been through several ego death, and this detox I am in now, it is another layer of ego death. So what I have actually done since 2013 is different layers of ego death. So I started one type of ego death in 2013, and this ego death that I have now, it is the most radical ego death that is. And I didn't know that it was possible until the non-spiritual world and my bigger all my helpers show me that detoxing your bone structure, so all your ancestor stuff and all what we have lived with, I just release it. So I am in a surrender. I have surrendered my life to the bigger picture. I have started to live from the originator's eyes, behind God's eyes. I didn't know that this was possible, because I have started to say I see with God's eyes. And I do. I live with seeing through God's eyes. All human are gods, and gods have emotion, have feeling. And this is the most difficult thing, being a human, being a god with feelings, because we attach so much to the feeling. We think we are our emotion. We think we are our body. But we just borrow this from Mother Earth. We borrow emotion. We borrow all of this thing from Mother Earth. So when I now have connected to the originator's eyes, it is the originator as gods. When we incarnate in body as gods, we ask the originator and we set up a soul plan. So I have learned to see through the originator's eyes. And the originator's, it has no attachment to the emotion. It has no attachment to anything on Mother Earth. So God, we can see to God's eyes also, but see into God's eyes with no attachment to emotion, and see the intertwinement. As Aleksander, he chose to be my son, and now he chose another family, and we will meet. And my grandmother that I adored in this life, she died in 1999. My grandmother, I called her Little Mother, Lillemor. And she died in 1999, and she was reborn in 2010. So I have met her, and I will co-create with her the rest of my life. And she's such an amazing soul. I love her, and I have her in my life. And I met my future grandchild in 2020. She came, I was in Lingen, and then suddenly she was there and communicated with me, and this was so emotional because she's such a bright soul. And I said, wow, and I loved her. I said, oh, I look forward to when you come into physical form. And yeah, we chatted, and it's like, wow, is this possible? I didn't know it was possible that I could meet my grandchild. The soul came, and it's like, yeah, it was very emotional. And then this year, in 2015, I have had a lot of ceremony. Also, 2023, 24, and 25, I have had a lot of ceremony. And being ceremony, it is seeing through God's eyes and the originator's eyes. And this year, 2025, I have said that, well, I am ready to have radical perspective, to really see above all what we have created. And then I saw, wow, this was radical, and I had so much insight. And one of the insight was that when I was pushed into my pain body really in 2013 until 2016 through the mafia, they pushed me, and it was hell. It was living with hell, because they followed me, they pressured us, and it was crazy. It was like mafia. It was like you seeing a thriller. It was horror. It was horror. And one of the mafia in this horror actually will be my granddaughter. It's like, what? This is crazy. So yes, it was shown me that this man have said yes to help me in this life, pushing me into the hardest so that I can blossom and become the originator and seeing with God's eyes. And I will help others to connect to their soul plan, because now I have connected to my soul plan. I do the same as we do before we incarnate in physical form, because before we incarnate in physical form, we are talking to all the souls and planning our lives, and we ask the originator as kind of a higher not in hierarchy, but he sees all. I see he, but it is a she, he, it. It's not, it has no gender as we have on Mother Earth. So the originator is kind of helping us with our soul plan to not take too much, but we have free will also, but we are guided with so much love. So all the guidings, it's with so pure, enormous, unconditional love. So I have said yes to be this originator and helping gods when we incarnate as gods as on Mother Earth. And to create heaven on earth now. Now it is the period of creating heaven on earth. So the evolvement I have done since 2013, it is wow. I had no idea that it is possible. And when also I met the bumblebee some days ago and showing me how my life has been small and then started to grow bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it flew everywhere. It was kind of everywhere, and that was showed me being the originator, and it was wow. So I am going into living as an originator, and people that want to start the process of ego death, because that I can help people with ego death so that they can become the new human and live heaven on earth. Because I have walked the path, I have done the same as Jesus. So I have communicated a lot with Jesus or Jesua, and also Buddha. Not so much Buddha, it's more Jesus, because he lived also with a pain body, and he lived as an originator because he knew that this was his home. He said that I live here, but I'm not from here. So he knew that he borrowed this body and the emotion and everything. So he saw with the same kind of eyes that I see as the originator. And all of us can do this if we want. So if you listen to this and you hear that, oh, I want to do it, you can do it. So this is given to us. And then we are multidimensional. We combine past, future, and here and now. Now I use time and space as a field communicating. So we use the field of space and time to communicate. And we use this field to create heaven on earth. So I create my life deliberately. And if I'm invited into something, I tune into the energy. Is this good for humanity? So I have chosen to said yes to be here for humanity and people that want to step up living as new human. And a lot of children born today, they are new humans, so they don't need to go through ego death. So it is the parents and the older generation like me, we are the one that need to go through ego death and deep detox. And I will have program to detox program and also parasite program, because parasite is the old consciousness. The parasite consciousness, they affect our emotional system and we are triggered. So they live inside us. They kind of eat our food and it drains us, and they affect all our systems. So I lived with parasite for 15 months, and wow, I learned so much deep information living with its parasite. It reminded me about the old life. And it is, if you are in old religious belief, religions and doctrine, the parasite consciousness, it is the same as living with doctrine. And it can also be the Western health medicine, because that's also a doctrine. Every doctrine that we say yes to, it affects our emotional system. So everything is perspective. When I live as the originator, I go out of the emotion, as I said, so I'm not reacting to, but I have, this body have instinct, it has a matrix. So I cannot be totally out of it, because then I'm dead. But I am as much as it is possible in this time, and I know that I will evolve, and it's like, how much can we evolve, because we are eternity. Like when I made the symbol God within, the eternity sign, and this was the divine design. I met my divine design in 2015, half year before Aleksander commits suicide. But meeting my divine design, I said, I cannot take it. It's too big to me. I cannot be God. I cannot be that big. I cannot be the originator of my life. So I said, no, it's too much. So I understand that people say it's hard or it's too bright, because it was actually too bright. When I saw myself as the creator, as the originator of my life, it's like, no, I cannot take that full responsibility, because the hardest thing for us is to take responsibility for every creation, every thought, every emotion, every energy. So we are deliberate creators. So that is the hardest, to really grow up. And when I lived in Guatemala in the beginning of 1600 as a shaman, a priest, and I hold the tribe leader, one of the biggest grief, actually that life I also lived as an originator. So I have lived as an originator and Mother Earth before as a man. So I do it now the same as in Guatemala, but now as a female. But in that life also, I was a little bit sad, but I know that I didn't go into my emotion like a lot of people do. And I was sad because of the people, the tribe, because they played so small. They didn't want to take responsibility. They argued, they made drama, and they make so much situation. And I guided them, and I said, you can do it, you create your own life. And I was really good tribe leader in that life. And I had a wife that was also originator, and I have her in my life as well. She's my daughter in this life. And we dedicated our life to humanity, and we did very well. But our tribe didn't want to grow up. They wanted to play small. They wanted to be in this small personality, creating drama, a lot of emotion, and blaming others. Blaming. They didn't want to take self-responsibility. So what we are in now, the big paradigm shift, it is to take responsibility, full 100% responsibility for our own creation. This is what the big shift is about. Because when you see through God's eyes, see through the originator's eyes, you take full responsibility for all your life, for all your creation, what you said yes to before incarnating in body. So that was what I wanted to learn to Aleksander, and I know that I will be able to learn it to him in another form, in another avatar. I have seen picture of him in this new avatar. He's such a sweet boy. Wow, he's such a sweet boy. So, but now he lives with a pain body again, and we need to help each other. So your worst enemy can be your lover or your best friend and your mother, or so just remember that the life we create here, if we point finger and judge, we are judging ourselves. It is another us. So we choose each other. Like my grandson that will be reborn and come in some years was also the mafia that pushed me so that I could be the originator that I said yes to. But I have lived with pain body for 40 years, so I have gone the path so I can help people. I have been there. And yes, I wanted to commit suicide because I didn't find a solution until I was 40 years. So if you know somebody, if you live with a pain body, you can contact me, because I have said yes. I have, and it's not only me, I have a lot of helpers building the Divinima Reset, a 9 program that help people to reset, to become the originator, to become the God source. Or if you don't like the word God, see it as the one, because it is the one, because all humans have a common source, and this common source wants to experience itself through emotion and through physical form. So this is what we have signed up for. And we are in a radical time, and 2025, 26, 27 and 28, this years it is deep changing. We are really, it is opening, and we have so much help from the non-physical and the bigger source, and you can call it angel, archangel, God, whatever. It is so much help for us if we just open to it. So that has helped me. The non-physical world, I have embodied the non-physical world, and the non-physical world helped me to detox so deep in my bone structure. So this is, the paradigm shift is a detox. So all of us have to say yes to detox so that we can be reborn. I have been reborn time after time since 2013, and now really all my bone structure, all my DNA, integrating more light, more light, more light. So I have really become God in physical form, the pure godness with more light. We are gods, but we want to emanate more, or we want to, all our body want to have more light. So we open up. So it is a radical opening. And even the word radical will show me that it is not radical, because we go back to the normal. We have been so deep in the darkness, and that's not the normal. So it's not radical, but it's radical from it, because everything is relation. In relationship to what we have been in, it's radical. But we are going back to normal God sources. When we sign up for this Mother Earth, as a species, we wanted to create heaven on earth. So now we start to live deliberately with free will and choose it with responsibility. We become more mature. This is a period where we become more mature, and all people, also men, will become more feminine, because we have been so masculine. So it's not more feminine, but we need to be more feminine now to come in balance. So that's why we see so much extreme. It is because it has been out of balance. But it is, when we take responsibility, we live in balance. Then we use the masculine and the feminine in the right way. Now we are just triggered. We have so much trigger, because we have lived as animal, just reacting, triggering, reacting, triggering. So we become in balance and deliberate creator that knows our soul plan. My soul plan was to go 40 years through this pain body and then become the originator, so that I can help others. So we self-choose, and the free will is so important. So this is one of the biggest tools you have, your free will. So choose light, choose love in everything you do. It's like, do I choose from fear? Do I choose this because I'm afraid of something, because I have to do it because of money, because of protecting? Or do I choose it because I do it out of love? This is the time where we choose love, love, love. Happiness, joy, every good thing, and creating heaven on earth. And we will use music a lot. Music is, it is to our soul. Our soul loves music and dancing. Rhythm. It's like, yes, so we become the new human. We dance, we use music, and we have celebration, and we enjoy life. We create heaven on earth. So this, I'm so grateful for the 22 years I had with Aleksander in physical form. And I look forward to having in another form. And I know that we are eternal. Me, Aleksander, my daughter, my husband, everything is eternal. So living from the eyes of the originator, wow, it is amazing. It is, yeah. And this is what we all are invited into. And we can say yes, and we can say no. That's the free will we have. And being in the graveyard cemetery, it is so peaceful here. It is so peaceful. I love being here. But I speak with Aleksander all the time, but I wanted to record now. And since also I bought this is a Hawaii rose. And Aleksander's favorite color was orange. So he had this orange, and he was stuck in his orange chakra. It was his ancestors carried the orange chakra trauma. His grandmother and he, so he liked it, and it was because he was so wounded in his sacral chakra. So yes, when we sign up for our parents, they have ancestor stuff. So we need to help our mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters. All of us have this. But now it is a shift also. So it will be easier and easier and easier. So the most important for parents now is to support their children and let them come with all their emotion and to just release it. Because when I had gone through my ego death through this life in physical form, then all my past life came. So I had a lot of ego death through my past lives. So it's like, is this endless? And for a period it felt like I did so much deep job and work with myself. Will it never end? Yes, it ends. So I have come to the place where it ends and I can be there. So I was there in the beginning of 2019, but 2019 was a really integration year for me to live with open heart, because you live with total open heart, radical open heart, that everything comes through you. You are totally open, because that's the biggest protection that is. We think that we protect behind masks and all this protection that we have built up, but the biggest protection is radically open heart, because then the light is the biggest protection. But it's not a protection, it is living from your light source as the originator, as the soul plan. Because when you live through your heart, open heart, you live through your soul plan. And this is what really, you create heaven and earth. You don't need protection. Protection is from the mind, the lower mind. And when you live through your heart, you love life, you create heaven and earth, and you don't need protection. You don't need to be in a reactive mode. You are. It is the I am. I am everything. It's like from second to second. You know that you create through time and space. So, and what I'm saying now, when I speak in 2 years, then I know that I will have evolved even more. Because when I listen to videos that I did just in 2020, it's like, wow. So the evolvement and the paradigm shift is so radical. It's so, wow. It is, we evolve. It has been kind of slowly. Now it's like, zoop, the curve is zoop, really upwards. So we are in such a deep shift. And when we go back in history, we say, okay, in the 1600 this happened, and then we talk about hundreds years, and now the shift is in 10 years. So because when, yes, we are now in 2025, when we are in 2035, wow, the radical shift that has happened in the coming 10 years, it will be so big. It has been big now the last 5 years, but the 10 years coming now, wow, it's so radical. And this bumblebee showed me the radical shift, and it's like, wow, because I have said yes to it. So my life is a symbol of a bumblebee. The impossible is possible. So we will now go from the possible is possible. What we have said for so many years is impossible now becomes possible. Because when you live as an originator, the impossible is possible. So you can say yes, you are invited to create your life as dream life, where the impossible is possible. Because when you are just as much in the non-physical as the physical, then the impossible is possible. So I wish you the best, and I hope that you can feel the inner state I am in. It's like, I love my life. I love everything. I love because this is what I am in essence. We are love in essence. Unconditional love that have self-chosen to incarnate in physical form. Bye-bye. I love you, Aleksander. I really love you. You are always in our hearts. Du alltid i våre hjerter in Norwegian means you are always in our hearts. Everything starts in the heart. Everything.